Today, we are going over my budget Cyber Dragon deck. After that, I will also show you the upgraded version of this deck. So someone in the chat was asking for this, someone in the YouTube comments was asking for this, and so I figured we just go over this budget variant of the deck real quick. It's actually pretty solid. I'd say it's in the rogue tier, let's say, and it only requires 3 ultra rares to craft, in my opinion. Now, of course, the updated version has more. This should be solid enough to get you to platinum, in my opinion. So we start off with herds. We basically have 6 normal summons in the deck that are really good. Herds is one of them. This counts as a Cyber Dragon. Also, when sent to the graveyard, adds another Cyber Dragon from deck or graveyard to hand. Now, I will not explain every single effect here because I already made a long deck profile of the upgraded Cyber Dragon deck. And again, I'll show you that at the end of the video again. And there I go super in depth. So if I had to do it like twice in a row, that'd be ridiculous. So yeah, 3 herds. It's also only a normal, so that's really solid. Then we have 2 Naxter. It's only a rare. Now, if you really wanted to play more, given that this is the budget variant, you could. But in the upgraded variant, I wouldn't play 3 for sure because it is quite bricky. You know, this and Galaxy Soldier, it's a bunch of specials that you can get your other bricks, Jizukiru, away with. But in general, people brick on Naxter quite often. 1 or 2 is fine. Most people play even just 1. Then we have Core. This is our other normal summon. Also a very good boy. Can search a bunch of our good spells and traps from our deck. And also counts as a Cyber Dragon. So again, we're going to be able to make all of these beautiful fusions here with this. Next, we have the 1 Ash, because we only got 1 Ash for free, of course. Anyone reading this on YouTube, remember to play Fluffle. So you got 1 Ash for free if you had the Master Bundle thingy. There we go, 1 Ash. Then we play 1 Dry. Now, in the full build, I don't play Dry, but here again, we needed to see what slots can we really use for cheap cards, let's say, that still have good impact. And in my opinion, Dry is one of those. The fact that you can special summon your Cyber Dragon or your Galaxy Soldier, then normal summon Dry, and then you make all of your Cyber Dragons level 5, and he is a Cyber Dragon, that means you can then overlay into Nova really easily. So for that reason, I do like the Dry, but it's not the highest impact card either. And people brick on it sometimes as well. Again, we already have 6 really good normal summons, so normal summoning this doesn't feel as great. Next, we have Cyber Dragon, of course, our boy, the original goodest boy. Special summons himself out and is also part of basically every fusion in here. Then we have Galaxy Soldier. This is a mainstay staple for Cyber Dragons. So it's a level 5 and it specials itself out and it gets rid of light monsters in your hand and you have everything is light. So the Galaxy Soldiers together with the Cyber Dragon or the Dry makes Nova, and then Nova makes Infinity, which is basically the best thing you can do going first and sometimes going second. Next, we have Jizukiru. Some people play less of this, but I really like it for breaking boards. Again, there's so many unfair things in this game. Your opponent is playing something like Drytron with the crazy negates, Lyrilusk, Tri-Brigade, all of that good stuff. You want to be able to break those boards, and if you don't draw your Kaiju, there is no way to break those boards. So I wanted 3 for that reason. If you're going to play against like weaker decks, you don't need a 3 in my opinion, but against these strong decks, I don't see how you can ever OTK without him. Also, some people say, oh, you can brick on 3, but you have 4 whole things that can get rid of him to special summon themselves out. So it's really hard to brick on them. 3, in my opinion, very crucial for the deck. You basically get rid of a strong thing on your opponent's side of the field, like some big negate, can be destroyed, herb derb dragon, nutbuster dragon, like some people call them. And then they have a machine. So if you then have another Cyber Dragon, you can fortress their Kaiju away and your Cyber Dragon. So you basically got rid of the threat and also got a solid Fortress Dragon on top. Next, we have the 1 Raigeki. Again, we are a going second deck. You know, we go second, we OTK our opponent. So being able to destroy all their monsters is really good. However, do make sure that if you're gonna Raigeki, that you do your Jizukiru or your Cyber Dragon kinds of plays first, because once their board is empty, if this somehow resolves, you can no longer use this special summon. Next, we have Machine Duplication. So this card basically pairs super well with our other boys that count as Cyber Dragons, because what it says is you target a machine with 500 or less, special summon up to 2 monsters from your deck with the same name. And so since Core on field and in graveyard and Herds on field and in graveyard are both Cyber Dragon, that means you can Machine Duplication duplication them, and then summon out 2 whole Cyber Dragons for free. So this means you now have 3 Cyber Dragons on board, meaning you get to create some of your crazy fusions and other plays. So machine duplication, super important card there. Next, we have our Power Bond. So if you're an anime fan from back in the day, this is a really cool card. Fusion summon something and then double its attack, but you will end up losing a lot of life points for it, but you don't care, because hopefully you get to kill that turn. If you Power Bond to make a Chimera Tech Rampage Dragon right here, that's a 4,200 attack monster that's going to attack 3 times. That is a lot, and usually people die then and there. Then we have Overload Fusion, another way to fuse summon stuff basically, but this time from your graveyard. So if you have like a bunch of these crazy Cyber Dragons in your grave, you can Overload Fusion into your Rampage very, very easy. Maybe they already, you used them to break a board, maybe you made a Nova, maybe you made a Chimera Tech Fortress. Now you have all of that stuff in your graveyard, which is fuel for the Overload Fusion. Next we have Cyber Emergency. This searches anything. Basically you search all of your Cyber Dragon monsters, but it can also search for a light machine that cannot be normal summoned or set. But yeah, also if your opponent negates this, you can add it back to your hand, though generally they're not gonna, because they know about the effect and you only get to use it next turn anyway. Then we have 2 Repair Plant. Now I'm a fan of 1 Repair Plant, but again we're in a budget variant, so we need to fill the slots with, cards that are good, but in the typical build would only be at 1, though some people play more of this. This can add a light machine from your deck to your hand if you have a Cyber Dragon in your graveyard. It's very easy to have a Cyber Dragon in your graveyard because you can literally special these or do whatever with these, and then you can make your Mega Fleet from your opponent's board, and then you have it engraved. Boom. Now you can go and add something you need. Next we have our Cyber Rev system. This is a monster reborn for Cyber Dragons that also gives them protection from destruction, so really solid card. Then we have 1 Lightning Storm because you got it for free if you bought the Master Bundle, and also great for going second. Then we have 3 Forbidden Chalice. So this is a negate your opponent's monster. It's only a rare, so it's like a budget Forbidden Droplet, really good in going second. Your opponent made some crazy board, you're trying to out it, so you Forbidden Chalice so they don't have effects. Cyber Load Fusion, another fusion spell for Cyber Dragons. Read it in your own time if you want. This is really cool because it can also use banished Cyber Dragons. So you can actually Overload Fusion into something, and then Cyber Load Fusion will grab the stuff you banished for Overload Fusion and you can make something else. Ideally, you would have more stuff. Also note that the thing you make with Cyberload is the only thing that can attack. So if you Overload into Rampage and then Cyberload into something else, your Rampage can't attack. Made that misplay before. Then we have 3 Cybernetic Overflow. This is basically a super, super powerful board breaker, let's say. Now, in my build, I only run 1, and I think currently even 0, but in the heavy trap build, you will often see high copies of this card. In the budget build, we can definitely afford to play higher copies. It's only a normal. And then finally, the 1 Solemn Judgment, again, because we got it for free, it's a highly impactful card. Next, we have the Rampage Dragon. If you have the budget and you want to make 1 extra SR, let it be this one. This is a crucial going second OTK, wipe their spells and traps, attack a billion times, crazy card. If you've seen my replays on YouTube, I have 1 video up right now where I play Cyber Dragon. You will notice this guy is constantly putting in the work. Really good card. Now we have Fortress. I put in 3 here because it's only a rare, but in my final build I only have 2. This is again just great for board breaking. Again, you give your opponent a Jizukiru, you make your own Cyber Dragon, any one of them, and boom, you've outed their board with the Fortress. Also, if your opponent is playing machines, it's even better. You can literally out a Zeus from your opponent with this, assuming they don't wipe your board. You can out certain Sky Striker links. You can out a bunch of stuff with this, so really solid. Then 1 Mega Fleet. This is basically Fortress newer brother. Mega Fleet can take anything that's in the extra monster zone. So if your opponent has a crazy link, Tri-Brigade might have a Cymorg or something along those lines. Anything in there, all access code, Appaloosa, whatever, you can just grab it for Mega Fleet. Also really easy. And also all of these are Cyber Dragons, so literally you have 15 cards that can make a Mega Fleet if your opponent has any link monster. Next we have 3 Cyber Dragon Nova. Now in my own build I only run 2, but again it's only a rare. You can run more in this if you're going hyper budget. Then we have 1 Infinity, so you can basically make this by putting it on top of the Nova. Very, very easy to make basically. And it has 2 incredible skills. So first of all, it can grab something from your opponent that's in attack position, literally just steal their board, really good. And then secondly, it can negate. It is a super powerful negate. If you don't want your opponent playing the game, An Infinity is pretty cool. And finally, we have a Seeker. This card is very often good for certain OTKs. You will often see people use this for that reason. He can basically give something else a bunch of power, and then he can attack something else, and then that other thing is probably something like a Rampage. So then that card is the Rampage is gonna attack like a billion times together with the extra power. So that is the budget variant. Now I will show you the upgraded version. But again, you can also check out this upgraded version on my YouTube channel with the full explanation. Now I will say I actually changed a few cards here. Toon Cyber Dragon. That was a good meme on stream. But the explanations that I gave in that other video are definitely valid. I'll also put that video in the link in the description. But yeah, some cards I added, of course, Maxi, Broken Hand Trap. Why wouldn't you use it? Ash, an extra one. Again, a super good hand trap. Why wouldn't you use it? I put in an extra Lightning Storm. Ideally, I'd play one more because going second, breaking boards, this is incredible. Then we have Called By to stop hand traps from happening. We have a few more SRs in Cyber Twin Dragon. Really good for OTKing. Chimera Takeover Dragon. Not the best craft. If you're running out of crafting material, I wouldn't make this. The second Mega Fleet as a UR is pretty solid. Pretty big fan of that. Does come up. Then we have the Zeus. A really good board breaker for this deck if you're upgrading from the budget deck. Then we have the one Almirage. Like I mentioned before, this is great to turn your herds or your core into something. Very often herds though, because then you get to trigger his if this card is sent to the graveyard. So solid for that reason. We have our Seeker, already spoke about it, and the Verte Anaconda. This is actually the first thing I would craft. So if I have that budget deck, I would make the Verte, and then you just get so many more plays to OTK. This can basically grab some of your fusion spells like Overload or Cyberload, and that way any two monsters turns into basically another fusion. So this is really crucial in a lot of the combos you can see in the gameplay on this channel. So again, there's one gameplay video on the channel already, and there's actually a second one coming. So be sure you subscribe to see that. And again, if you want more explanation about Cyber Dragons, I already have a profile that is fully ready, you know, my deck without Toon Cyber Dragon in it. Go check that out. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you soon. Ciao.